In the vast expanse of literature, certain themes flow like currents through the pages, shaping the narrative landscape and adding depth to the storytelling. One such timeless tale that navigates the murky waters of adventure and intrigue is Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. Published in 1883, Treasure Island is known as a masterpiece of adventure fiction that has captured the imaginations of readers for generations. Set amidst the backdrop of the high seas, this classic novel follows young Jim Hawkins as he embarks on a perilous journey in search of buried treasure, encountering a cast of colorful characters along the way. But amidst the swashbuckling action and daring escapades, there is another element that flows through the pages of Treasure Island like a hidden current: water. From the vast expanse of the ocean to the treacherous depths below, water plays a crucial role in shaping the story and its characters. Speaking of which, let's talk story.
The story kicks off with the arrival of Billy Bones at the Admiral Benbow Inn, carrying a mysterious sea chest and evoking fear with his tales of adventure and his paranoia about a former crewmate, a seafaring man with one leg. After Billy's death, Jim and his friends, Dr. Livesey and Squire Trelawney, discover the treasure map in the sea chest, leading them to embark on a voyage to find the treasure. They hire a crew, including the cook Long John Silver and his band of sailors, unaware that they are pirates plotting mutiny. The voyage to Treasure Island is fraught with tension and suspicion, as Jim learns of the mutiny plans but is unsure whom to trust. Upon reaching the island, Jim becomes separated from the others and encounters Ben Gunn, who has been marooned there for years. Jim eventually reunites with Dr. Livesey and the loyal members of the crew, and together they fend off attacks from the mutineers led by Long John Silver. The story culminates in a thrilling showdown between the loyalists and the mutineers, with Jim and his friends emerging victorious. They recover the treasure and sail back to England, leaving Long John Silver marooned on the island. So basic underlying themes of this adventure are exploration, loyalty and betrayal, greed and the lust for treasure, and coming of age and personal growth.
But this video isn't supposed to be about this novel's story, but about its usage of water and the underlying meanings hidden offshore and on the eponymous Treasure Island. So what exactly is the matter with Aquatics in and on Robert Louis Stevenson's Treasure Island? At its surface, water serves as a setting, a vast, unpredictable expanse that both separates and connects the characters to their quest for treasure. The sea, with its boundless horizon and untold mysteries, becomes a character in its own right, shaping the fates of those who dare to sail its waters. Significantly less pregnant, but much more important than it might appear to the reader, is the mention of rum and water on the book's first few pages. It holds a lot of symbolic and thematic significance throughout the novel, creating a kind of very subtle foreshadowing regarding the unfolding of the story. For example, it serves as a contrast of innocence and corruption. Water often symbolizes purity, cleanliness, and innocence, while rum symbolizes temptation, indulgence, and corruption. The juxtaposition of water and rum reflects the contrast between the innocent, straightforward world of Jim Hawkins and the treacherous, morally ambiguous world of piracy and greed. The combination of water and rum can also represent the duality of human nature, where characters are torn between their better instincts, symbolized by water, and their baser desires, symbolized by rum. Characters like Long John Silver exemplify this duality, as they oscillate between acts of kindness and acts of betrayal driven by their greed. Not to mention that throughout the novel, characters are tempted by various desires, whether it's the allure of treasure, the promise of adventure, or the temptation to betray others for personal gain. The mention of water and rum serves as a recurring thematic motive that underscores the constant temptation faced by the characters and the moral choices they must navigate. In a practical sense, water and rum are essential for survival at sea. Water sustains life, while rum provides temporary relief and courage in the face of danger. The mention of these two elements reflects the harsh realities of life at sea and the necessities required for survival in such an environment. Taking water and rum solely physical, the water, usually seen as pure and clean, gets stale and infected by bacteria when stored in a barrel for too long. Thus the rum, usually assessed as filthy, is used to purify the water. Ain't that ironic? In a blue humanities kind of sense. Overall, the mention of water and rum in Treasure Island serves as a symbolic motive that encompasses themes of innocence versus corruption, duality of human nature, temptation, and survival, while foreboding twists of both the story and its characters. But beyond its physical presence, especially when purified with alcohol, water in Treasure Island also holds deeper symbolic significance. It represents isolation and solitude, as characters find themselves abandoned on a deserted island or adrift in the open sea, cut off from civilization and helped by unimaginably massive bodies of water. Furthermore, water as a tool for survival is a present theme in Treasure Island. In chapter 16, specifically on page 121 and 122, Dr. Livesey, after arriving at Treasure Island with the Hispaniola, slowly starts to grasp the significance of the availability of fresh water. The other party, now invading the island's desolated space, priorly discovered a freshwater spring, which will act as a crucial source of drinking water during their time on the island. The sheer worthiness of this freshwater spring is underlined by the fact that they immediately fortified the spring itself, securing the most valuable resource, apart maybe from the treasure itself. A spring of clear water rose almost at the top of a knoll. On the knoll and enclosing the spring, they had clapped a stout log house fit to hold 20 of people on a pinch and looped hole for musketry on either side. What particularly took my fancy was the spring, for though we had a good enough place of it in the cabin of the Hispaniola, with plenty of arms and ammunition, and things to eat, and excellent wines, there had been one thing overlooked. We had no water. This scene, especially the fortification of a water source and the doctor's internal thoughts following its discovery, emphasized the importance of fresh water for survival in a deserted environment. Furthermore, it shows how it is interwoven into the story's conflicts surrounding Treasure Island, underlining that water is the spring of life itself. In Treasure Island, water also serves as a dynamic setting and crucial means of transportation throughout the story. From the tranquil shores of the Admiral Benbow Inn to the treacherous seas surrounding Treasure Island, water shapes the narrative in profound ways. Initially, the coastal setting of the Admiral Benbow Inn establishes a sense of tranquility and normalcy in Jim Hawkins' quiet normal life. As the story progresses, water becomes the conduit for adventure and danger. The voyage aboard the Hispaniola to Treasure Island is fraught with peril as Jim and his companions navigate stormy seas, encounter rival pirates, and contend with the threat of mutiny. The vast expanse of water isolates the characters, intensifying the sense of suspense and the unknown. Contrary to that, water also serves as a symbol of freedom and exploration. The open sea represents endless possibilities and the promise of discovery, fueling Jim's desire for adventure. Yet, it also embodies the dangers of the unknown, as the characters confront storms and other unforeseen threats. In addition to its role as a setting, water is a vital means of transportation in Treasure Island. The characters rely on ships to navigate the treacherous waters between England and Treasure Island. The Hispaniola is comparable to the Demeter in The Last Voyage of the Demeter, since the story not only unfolds partly on board, but also uses the setting of an isolated vessel as a means for creating suspense. Overall, water plays a multifaceted role in Treasure Island, serving as both a setting that shapes the mood and atmosphere of the story, and a vital means of transportation that propels the characters on their thrilling adventure. In conclusion, the motive of water and rum in Treasure Island encapsulates themes of innocence versus corruption, the duality of human nature, temptation and survival. The fortification of a water source on Treasure Island and the Doctor's introspection highlight the crucial role of fresh water for survival in the deserted setting. Moreover, water serves as a vital setting and means of transportation, shaping the story's mood and propelling the characters on their thrilling adventure. Thus, water emerges not only as a narrative element, but as a symbol of life itself, intricately woven into the conflicts and dynamics of Treasure Island.